What has your life been like?
Oh, horrible. Horrible. And my name is just because it's not so much because they know my face. It's more or less because they know my name. And since they know my name, everywhere I go, they're obviously insinuating that I did something wrong because my name is so much on the news. So I haven't been able to get a job. I haven't been able to do much of nothing because everybody's just judging me by my name.
That was Zanaida Gonzalez before she revealed her face, explaining how Casey Anthony's mention of her name has ruined her life. Joining me now, in addition to my fantastic panel, Jonathan Kaysen, the civil attorney for Casey Anthony. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Jonathan. I want to ask you, you say you're filing a mystery motion. What indeed is that mystery motion?
Well, I wouldn't deem it a mystery motion, but we're filing a motion to dismiss, a motion for sanctions, and a motion for what's commonly referred to as 57-105, or attorney's fees in this case.
So what sanctions, what are you basing the request for sanctions upon?
We're requesting sanctions because it's our position, based upon the research that I've done, based upon the facts in this case, that it's clear that this case was brought solely to generate publicity for the plaintiff's firm. It's clear that Miss Anthony had a qualified privilege to speak to the police in mid-July of '08 when she did, specifically Detective Melich. And in doing so, anything that she said as related to the furtherance of an investigation of a crime is protected. That, coupled with the fact that the Zanaida Gonzalez that she refers to has no connection to the plaintiff.
Well, let's bring in our other attorneys. Pam Bondi, do you think that these sanctions have a shot?
No, I don't, and I can tell you I personally know John Morgan. I've talked to him about this case, and he cares deeply about Zanaida Gonzalez and what she's been through. He really, truly does, and this woman needs to clear her name, and I think the problem, and it's tough for Jonathan, you know, because he's got the civil suit, and then you've got Jose Baez with the criminal suit, and of course Jonathan can't let her say anything in the civil suit. Completely understand that. But however, if Baez is still in the criminal suit, what we just heard, they haven't given away their mystery defense, going to maintain that Zanaida Gonzalez had something to do with this, the woman has the right to clear her name. The timing of it, of course, isn't good any way you look at it, but Zanaida Gonzalez needs to clear her name, especially now if at trial, Casey Anthony's going to stick to the story that she's given numerous times to law enforcement that Zanaida Gonzalez had something to do with
Jonathan,
it.
Well, Jonathan, have your piece.
Well, I disagree with her. I don't believe Mr. Morgan has any interest here other than generating publicity for his firm. I believe if you look at his tactics, look at the myriad of interviews that he's given, this is the first interview I've ever given on television on this matter. If you look at the fact that he's inviting the media to certain depositions, if you look at the fact that he sought to depose Casey Anthony during a criminal case, it's clear that he's not looking for the truth here. He's looking to generate publicity. Because if you look at what happened in the OJ case in the mid-90s in California, Daniel Petrocelli's firm filed a civil lawsuit subsequent to a resolution of the criminal case so that OJ would be forced to answer questions. In this case, she cannot be forced to answer questions during the pendency of a criminal case.
Well, Jonathan, what about the argument that since you have filed a counterclaim that you're basically undermining your own argument because you have also filed a legal action in the civil arena?
That's an interesting question, Jane, and the way I would answer it is that Mr. Morgan has put forth this idea. I think the media has picked this up, and it's patently inaccurate. The law and Florida statutes require that if you are sued and you wish to bring either a counterclaim or an affirmative defense, it must be filed at the time in which you file your answer. And it looks as if Mr. Morgan wants it both ways. He wants to say, well, I want to proceed forward in this matter, but I should not be allowed to file an answer. And if I do file an answer, then I am subjecting my client to a deposition. That's
I can just hear
incorrect.
Darren Kavanoki trying to jump in on this conversation.
Well, and I agree with all the legal blah, blah, blah that's going on. But the thing that I think of with Zanaida Gonzalez is I'm recalling Ed McMahon, you know, who recently went through this bankruptcy and all of the proceedings that he did, and now he's turned that around and he's doing commercials for check cashing places. I'm not sure that Zanaida Gonzalez needs protection. I'm sure that there are people out there that would appreciate and make great use.
But she says she's been fired because of this. She says that nobody wants anything to do with her because they think the media is going to approach her. She can't get work. She's got kids. I mean, she says this has impacted her life.
I know that's what she's saying, and all I'm saying, Jane, is I'm just not buying it.
All right,
I think there's more to that story.
All right, last night I spoke to the attorney for Zanaida Gonzalez. Let's hear what he had to say.
We're going to be able to prove through discovery and through testimony that the Zanaida Gonzalez that she referred to was our client, Zanaida Gonzalez. She's now saying, oh, it was another Zanaida Gonzalez. But in our interrogatories to her, she can look at this picture and she can simply say yes or no. Is this the Zanaida Gonzalez that was your babysitter? Yes or no? And that would go a long way for us and for Ms. Gonzalez to put closure and perhaps put this whole thing behind her.
So, Jonathan, he's saying answer one question and you can make it all go away. Why not do that?
Number one, it's a trap. The reality is we have sought to defer or to stay any of the depositions or interrogatories during the pendency of the criminal case. Judge Rodriguez denied our request as it relates to the interrogatories, but granted it as it related to the deposition.
Can you say that in English? Because our viewers aren't attorneys.
No, I understand. I should slow down. A deposition is, in effect, testimony under oath, many times with a camera there, but oftentimes with a court reporter there, so that what is being said is memorialized. Interrogatories are questions that are what's called propounded or extended to an individual to answer, specifically your name, what do you do for work, how do you got
bottom
involved
line,
in
you're
this case.
saying you cannot answer that question. The reason why he says it's the same is that she claimed initially she dropped little Kaylee off at the Sawgrass Apartments, and that's where this particular Zanaida Gonzalez had filled out a form. Quick answer to that, Jonathan.
Jane, I would say that the picture that Mr. Morgan sent to us was the same photo, to my understanding, that Detective Melich showed to my client. My client said, that's not the lady. The lady I've interacted with is 24. The plaintiff is 39. The lady I've interacted with is childless. This lady has 4 kids. There's no connection other than a common last name and first name that many Latins have in Florida.
Okay.
Specifically, I think more than 20 do.
Guys, we've got to leave it right there. I'm so glad that you joined us, Jonathan, Pam, Darren, Jennifer, Rozzy. Jonathan, thank you so much.